Good morning. We start with Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga from the small booklet. From the heart of the Savior of 100 deities of Tushita, on a peak of cloud resembling a clam of extremely white fresh curd, King of Dharma, omniscient Losandrapa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me on a lion throne, lotus and moon, my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight. Supreme field of merit for my mind of faith, please abide for 100 yawns to spread the teachings. Your holy mind has the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ear ornament for those of good fortune. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful, with glory renowned. To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Pleasing drinking water, various flowers, fragrant incenses, lice, scented waters, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, I offer to you the supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those opposite to the three vows that I have collected from beginningless time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret from my heart. You strove for much learning and practice in this degenerate age, and made your freedoms and richnesses meaningful by abandoning the eight worldly concerns. Saviour, we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect pure holy Gurus, from the billowing clouds of wisdom and compassion in the sky of the Dharmakaya, please let fall a rain of profound and extensive Dharma upon the receptacle of those to be subdued exactly as they need. May whatever virtue I have collected benefit the teachings and all transmigratory beings, and in particular may it cause the essence of perfect pure Losandrapa's teachings to shine forever. Dashi Buki Chushi Medok Dramari Rablin Shi Nidegyambari Sange Shindu Mikte Owa Idrokunamadak Shilachuparsho. By the merits of having offered this mandala to Lama Tsongkhapa and his two sons, may I, my family members, and all sentient beings be able to meet, practice, and actualize the teachings of the victorious one Losandrapa, who had the morality of an eminently pure way of life, was courageous in the extensive conduct of the sons of the victorious ones, and accomplished the yoga of the two stages of supreme bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. By the force of having fervently requested in this way, Hollow beams of white light are emitted from the hearts of the perfect pure Father and Sons, and combining into one enter my crown. White nectar, the color of milk, flows from the opening of the tube of white light, cleansing all my sicknesses, spirit harms, negative karmas, obscurations, and their imprints without exception. My body becomes as pure and clear as crystal. Now we recite 5-line Miktsema 3 times. Mikmet sewe terchen chen resik dreamek yempe wampo jampe liang dupo malu jonze sanwe dak ganchen gepe tsungen tsongkapa losan drape shabla solwade Mikmet sewe terchen chen resik Dreamek yempe wampo jampe liang dupo malu jonze sanwe dak ganchen kepe tsungen tsongkapa losan drape shabla solwade Mikmet sewe terchen chen resik Dreamek yempe wampo jampe liang Dupo malu jonze sanwe dak ganchen gepe tsungen tsongkapa losan drape shabla solwade.
Sangye chedan tsogin chonum la chanchu pardo dana kyabsun che dagi chushe jebanda dagi rolan benje sangin drupara sho Sangye chedan tsogin chonum la chanchu pardo dana kyabsun che dagi chushe jebanda dagi rolan benje sangin drupara sho Sangye chedan tsogin chonum la chanchu pardo dana kyabsun che dagi chushe jebanda dagi Roland Beje Sanjin Drubar Show Kangi Tuzini Zoni Tawa Tamche Pambichere Tambichun Tenzi Kodum Tela Chancelo Shishin Kyongan Javi Lord Kesan Navi Genju Leshi Sutavi Beje Lamin Zevi Tonde Jembi Tonde La Chancel Namola Ekedan Ludanoje Tripan Dada Me Ekedan Drava Kunji Tanu Chizamba Tamji Kedu Dagi Chudento. Good morning everyone. Shakudele Chambala.
What did you say?
Tamangan Chun traveling Guarsra. That Sava Pengi Bana. Sozula Kari, Choyobana, Choachik, the Mena Joshik, some such tenan and Sutigana, Kamisheris.
So you can ask any type of questions since we are conducting this as question and answer sessions. And of course, if you don't have questions, then maybe you can ask some topics or subjects so where I can talk.
No? Ah, sorry. Um, Perindele pevia ki Gunzendro de Carinas. Kilayas. Mixi terinde yongoya.
So Geshe, I would like to know why all of you are here. What is the reason? Can you please tell me?
Well, this is my first time for a Buddhist teaching. This is my first time for a Buddhist teaching, and yeah, I do have a question, and my question is, I'm here because I would like to learn, and my question is, what is the most important thing I should learn about Buddhism today from this visit?
Mora ani sartang boyins. Ani the tiwa doji boyina the chidang ko te the nangshu janga doji lewins. Ani di sartang boyin du zambala the mora ani kechi shu doji the nangshu nani loge lenya doji jaya doji kare yunas.
Payaudos. Jiwa tacharan re ta ngala ya tindi doji gogoyo rasra. Kansana ngande lewa ti ani nge mese nanglo la ya. Kanji loyon rimbu la ya jang shabi ki ani lobjong ti ki migyu dia me shenpa la ya pen toya. Simjen shenpa la ya pen toya ki. Jangji lobjong korana la ti she yore la. Jang bikab la ya na migyu tindi jikini jang yore. Ani jang tsewe je la ya. Ani migyu tindi wala ya. Ani sosu kang pigi ta nangshu kang shimba ti. Samba namda ki pa mila she ya di. Ani ngarangi ta ngent sura chik. Ro responsibilities chagi yores. Ro
So thank you for your asking this question, and it's all, of course, it's a very good question. And for me, of course, I have been studying Buddhism for whole life and for many years. And when I study the Buddhism, of course, my main aim is to help others. While I was studying, my main is like that. And of course, after studying, or since I came here in Australia, my main, you know, aim is to help others. Whatever I have studied and whatever I have experienced is that I, uh, teach to someone who are interested, and it's my responsibility to teach and help others.
terda nambi chu tengin di damba shajamene kongres. Tandagan jamru tengin di sanji chu gendun. Sayage sanji di ani chomden di res. And this namba sanji begi chu tengin di res. Ani di nibadili chu sayade kongi tenbegi chu di res. Ani gendun sayade kongi tenbegi chu di nyamsu lendengin. Lalin liya tardengin. Susu tup no matu na lalin liya tardengin. Tiliya tsu gendun sayade disum res. Ta disum dan re disum gi tenbi chu kandashi tendu chu di gendun kandashi nyamsu lengudu. Ten nanshin gi chik ani ta rangra susu gi ta nyamsu len tuya chik chigin bay na. Teni ta kepsan chi yungu yores. Randa shen samalo la ya pen toya chik chumri chita yungu yores.
And of course, with regard to Buddhism, the main founder is Buddha Shakyamuni. And while we recite the three jewels, especially this, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So Buddha Shakyamuni refers to the insight that Buddha, Dharma, and Buddha, Sangha, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So Buddha refers to Buddha Shakyamuni. So of course we go for refuge to these three jewels. And with regard to Buddha Shakyamuni, he is the founder, teacher, and whatever when we think about Dharma, so Dharma is something that Buddha Shakyamuni taught us, and with regard to Sangha is the person who actually this practice this Dharma. So whether you are able to practice or not, it depends on you. Anyhow, those person who practice the teaching which is taught by Buddha Shakyamuni. So if you are able to practice that Dharma, then of course it will benefit to you and others too.
다드니 다좀 된디 최디 알담보 최된 발라야 최디 가르치니 공 간다지기 또니 땡겨레스 땡기 최딩공 간다시레스 아니 티템비 아니 고바 카르레스 근데 딘지지기 또니 삼담바이나 ning 당초거레스라.
And as I said earlier, that Buddha Shakyamuni taught us this Dharma. And so why Buddha Shakyamuni taught this Dharma to us? And what is the meaning of this Dharma? So what are the purposes of this Dharma? So like these things, maybe you can try to understand here.
데니 공드 가르스나 당안주 감송 로지 tukseji 당안주 심장 탐제세 당안주 아니 셈 영행기 속착 참말로기 삼루기 갑초소르디 대원대바다 동할면대바 찍바 인대바티 덴지기 대원면대바다 가서 대원대바다 동할면대나야 데니 망체티 아니 동할기 내송대비소르지 로 동할면대신도 동할기 내송대 대한비다 직된 차만이비 작단 초리 첨부 지키 원도 손치더니 아니 참미님이 직된 딘리직난도 홍대 고야디 가르레 슬라운디 아니 좀 낸디다 디톨이야 제바슈 제친다 대산도 마선나더니 지 디톨이야다 아니 믹스키 아니 더 첼리치 종더치 제바치온디 아니 간주 문디비 동아타 지자와디 데니 차단유무기 온기 차단유무 숙치위 온기 데니 차미니비 직된데 용되게 여바티 시바인자 덴디기 따치 동안 되기요 말이 이네 용구 여반자 동안 디트 차발이야 아니 디규 다 차단유무 도고 여바티 니 때좀는데 무식바레스
Then with regard to the motivation, so of course we have so many sentient beings in this particular earth. We can talk about three realms, and so forth. So all these sentient beings want happiness and do not want suffering. This is same to all the sentient beings. And most of the sentient beings are suffering and they want more. And you know, as most of the sentient beings are suffering and are in the situation of problem, why this is so, why it is like this. And most of the most of the sentient beings are, under the power of attachment, aversion, and so forth. So why is this? So you can think about this. And with regard to Buddha Shakyamuni himself, he tried to analyze why situation is like this, why is like this. Even though all sentient beings want happiness and do not want suffering, but still most of the sentient beings seems to be suffering. So then actually Buddha Shakyamuni tried to understand its roots or its causes and conditions, causes and factors. So because of the root cause of the three poisonous mind or the attachment, aversion, and ignorance, because of the root cause of ignorance that one can actually see in this world, that most of sentient beings are in problem, most of the sentient beings are suffering. And to free from these sufferings, Buddha Shakyamuni taught us or given us the gift called the Dharma. So if you can practice this Dharma, and of course, one will have happiness in one's own mind stream.
That dungar dugu me vainza. Ani dungar dugu me vainza. Dungar di the pang the kago yorasra. Dungar kawala. Ani dungar khan yongsa ki gyu pa kamatuna. Ani devu dungar ka tugu me vainza. Gyu nyumuti. Chakdan nyumuti kite. Ani kago yachik. Sungu yores. The kago res lawandi. Ande yanjir ta chiwa mamu legi rasra.
Since we do not want suffering, so if you don't want suffering, then actually one should be able to stop that suffering, or one should be able to restrain from these suffering. So how one should, stop these sufferings? So here actually one needs to think about its causes and conditions. If one cannot stop the causes and conditions of sufferings, one will never be able to be free from the sufferings. So how one will be able to stop the causes and conditions of sufferings, and many more questions will be arising in your mind stream.
Tirda chakdan yumu ka gore slaundi ta kaya yorbe se chwadle gorta. Kaya yorbe es. Tipas meba soy yorbe es. Tim chwadle gores ta. Anu dis seba yorbe es. Nyumu seba yorbe es. Nyumu sebi seba chik yorbe es. Chwaddi ta namba sanjibi ta chogu ton shiawani ta chwache shu diresro. Ta dis sebi seba di chomden digi chunguma di dungar ki tsawa nyumu sebi seba dilaya 좀 된 뒤부터 산지 위치한 거만 딩원진치서 데레스.
As as I said earlier, that one needs to stop the causes of suffering. Here, the causes and conditions means causes and conditions refers to attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Or you can say the destructive emotions is the one actually one should stop or one should be restrained from. So when I say one should, stop these destructive emotions, the question is it something that we can really stop these destructive emotions? And one will be able to, just abandon these uh, destructive emotions or not. So, and somebody can be able to abandon all these destructive emotions or not? This is the biggest question you can ask in Buddhism. If you are Buddhist, you can ask this question. So then you can think about abandoning the, abandoning the all destructive emotions or the abandoning the root cause of the suffering. So this is actually the Dharma, the actual Dharma. So actual Dharma is that abandoning of all the destructive emotions, including its root. So when you think about Buddha Dharma, so this is the actual Dharma.
다 뉴무 세비 세바디 좀 된 뒤에 쓰기 어렸다. 좀 된 뒤에 뉴무 세바이나 동한 가르고 여봐. 뉴무 메나 메텔 동한 메바디 게시 자단 바다 쓰기 어렸다. 뉴무에 트위 어렸다. 딘자 당한주 뉴무 세비 세바 여르베 슬라원디 뉴무 세비 세바 여다 메게 다 심주 제거라스라. 디 미치기 라구드슬라 마임바 수수랑 기페 아니 심죽친 딱지친 니신 렌투바치 레바는 다디 에 다딘니 야부쇼여스다라 다딘니 로 데부쇼치 아니 셈바키부 데니 오니 지다 다고 남기다 만다야 아니 셈라야 시디치 다 레고여로 왔어.
And this abandoning the whole negative emotions, abandoning all the negative emotions or the cessation. So this is something that actually Buddha Shakyamuni taught us. So if you can stop these destructive emotions or afflictive emotions, then you will never experience suffering and all other problems. This is something that Buddha Shakyamuni himself had experienced, and he taught us these teachings. So that's why it's very necessary to think yourself whether these destructive emotions can be stopped or not. One should actually analyze. And this is not something that, okay, this and that person told me that one will be able to stop all these negative emotions or destructive emotions. Rather, it is crucial here to understand that one must have some kind of experience or realization that okay, this is the one that I want, and this is something that I experience myself, and I need to stop or abandon all these destructive emotions. So one should be able to think, and one should be able to at least have some kind of experience here. So if you have these, or some kind of experience, then your mind will become relaxed and you will feel happy and you will experience the feeling of happiness which you have never experienced earlier. So then you can say that I'm happy.
Dida 가서다 참모 쉬우지로 왔어. 이니야 딘디 하마고나야 nganzu ta sodarang che thuyaji ti nganzu gilai ta nyumu ki yorasra chagdan nyumu shukchenbu ki yorasra chagdan nyumu ki kabdula chagdan nyumu ki sagi yulaya ta degi bayna pena kondro ki sagi yulaya mixi gi ani marong ya chatte de bayna ani kondro mang ki yachida ani magiba mang leyaji 다 연구 열었어. 땡간수 다 냠뇽 열었다. 아니 착바 계사질이야. 아니 지금 런도글로 망치 때대 봐이나. 착바 망 용했지. 착바 망할 땐비 되니 강한 태지마도 박 페브르에다 기브르지 다 연구요 말했다. 내가 칸드지 연구요 말했어. 데 마임바 착단 기비 갑둘라 착단 기세기 율라 파마테바 착단 랑기 ngongle tsuten 착단 코랑기 아니 비게 에 따츠 아니 코랑기 견데 연데 가리여메 착단 코랑기 돌에 츠 로카지 초트고 임바이나 다가랑기 흘려차야지 디용구요레스 야치 야용구요레스라
Of course, these are some points which is quite subtle. And of course, it will take some time to understand all these points. So even though if you don't understand all these subtle points, anyhow, I will tell you, something actually you have experienced in your whole life. For example, you have experienced yourself these destructive emotions. So while I say this destructive emotion is something that you have experienced yourself, then these destructive emotions experience yourself. This powerful destructive emotions is something that you have experienced yourself. So at the time of experiencing these destructive emotions or afflictive emotions in your mental continuum, what we generally do is we try to see the object of the destructive emotions, or object, for example, like object of anger. When you are angry, we tend to see the object of anger here. And also, when we are attached to someone, when the attachment arises in our mental continuum, we tend to see the object of attachment. So here, if you try to see the object of attachment, object of aversion, object of hatred, and so forth, it seems that it will create more problems and more suffering. Then what should we do? We better try to see, we should not think about the object of attachment here. Rather, we should try to see the attachment, aversion, hatred, and so forth. You try to see the entity of the definition of these attachment and so forth. So if you are able to do this, then you will feel more relaxed and you will feel more happier. And this is something that I am 100% sure.
Any yakpu 심죽 제트와이나 차단 기비 갑둘라 먼저 남주 초도다스라 비 남주 렉니 애니 비 남반집 남주 초도요레스 간다스 초도요레스 라운디 안지 콘도 시바나시 먼저 참말로 랑다 신 참말로 대원되었다 동할 문제봤다 아니 지규림 대봤 디 지규린자 수수라야 동할 존나 문제 로기여봐 수수라 대와 존나 가와다 대와 되기여봐 동할 되기매봐 나신기 아니 파셔마 찍바임바디 찍바임바텔라 아니 지규르 삼모 땅투여기 남주디 토르고다스라 동할 문제인지라야 동할 제대한도 디 가스나 차당기 롱원도 키운디 아니 랑기 데두기 치도 파쇼말이야 동한 문딩이질이야 동한 제대야 대와 등hin질이야 대와 촉대 삼루디 리그도스 디 디피기 유르고 닐루다 문팀비기 아니 로직이 인고다스다로 자와지 제쇼도다스 디 남주 영인기 미지바네 디 치기요 말했어 잔댕기 자와지 제투거랬어 안저급 드디 남주 디 메바디 아니 차당 끼치네 남주 촉조요인자 어디레스
Then if you are able to analyze well, especially if you are able to analyze how these destructive emotions or negative emotions act, how these destructive emotion arises in our mental continuum. So if you are able to analyze like that, then what happens is at the time of arising of these destructive emotions in one's own mental continuum, then you will understand that the wisdom, or there is a special mental factor which act as which tries to see what is good and what is bad, what is benefit and what is not so benefit. So this type of mind or this mental factor, so this mental factor or this wisdom will not work at that particular time, especially if you are under the power, or if you are influenced by these negative emotions. Then your ability to make distinction between right and wrong, so this will not work. So especially, as I mentioned earlier, that we all want happiness and we do not want suffering. So this is something that equal to all the sentient beings. For example, I want happiness and I do not want suffering. Like that, others too, they don't want suffering, and what they want is actually happiness. This is, equal to oneself and others too. So at the time of, arising of these negative emotions, these destructive emotions, one will not be able to make distinction between right and wrong. So at that time, what happens is, for one's own the happiness, what we tend to do is we tend to harm others, we tend to bully others, so that one will, to the purpose of, gaining happiness in oneself. So if you try to act like that, then this action is not in accordance with the reality. And at that time, your wonderful mind called wisdom is not activating, or it's not functioning at that time. So why these things happened is because of the influence of the negative emotions or destructive emotions.
다들이다 대화 등해질래야 동화때 등해지다 동화 문등해질래야 동화때 등해지 차바이나 다디 아니 샘 축데 비 따그레스다 샘 축메나 라 엔디 치기요 마레스 페나 니마샤론디 니마샤르두세 람마투바 니마샤론디 사르브르두세 람기 짐바이나 자세 자담바 메디 아니 아니 레자다 슉 첨부 축데 열마도 딜라고 말았으라 아 니마샤비카도 다서 사르브르두세 라고 말았더라 사르브르디 다 니마샤르두세 라고 말았다 아니 피기 레자 축 맹행기 미짐바나 그 니마샤디 니마샤도 사르브디 사르브두세 딱딱 랍투라 다 딱딱 랍마투바이나 콜 균주비 따라와다 암지기다 다 축샤 세그다 자자자 피기 딱지 제로바이나 저런 축샤 세그러다 그 축데샤 세그러다 들다 좀된 디기다 피기 유단 툼비기 자와 제마투나 다다축 축바레스 디수 축바레스나 뉴문구 축바레스 다디다 다 릭비기 돈 사운다나 다 축교를 레다더라 피기 율디기 닐룩던 툼바지기 아니 samdang tuguyo mari chawachi tuguyo mari tadi khares kyen khare kani kyen shobares
So if you try to act in such a way where you tend to harm others to a person who actually want happiness, and you tend to harm others who actually do not want suffering. So if you act in that way, then I can say that you are mentally, you are actually, I can say that you are mentally not well. For example, at the time of sunrise, then that person, if that person say that okay, the sun is setting, and at the time when the time of the sun is setting, then if you say that sun is rising, then you are mistaken here. One part of your brain is not working well. So this is 100% sure. Since you are not able to make distinction between the sunrise and the sunset, so you are actually not able to say what is right and what is wrong. So if you go to see the doctors, then I'm sure that doctor will say the same thing to you. So likewise, Buddha Shakyamuni taught us many teachings, and Buddha Shakyamuni understand that we are not able to act in accordance with the reality. Since we are not able to act in accordance with the reality, then what are the causes that we tend to do these things? It is because of afflictive emotions or destructive emotions or negative emotions. So these negative emotions leads us to do many different things, and we tend to act negatively. Yes.
페나 ngal nyamnyo hes ngal samwal nyamnyo yigirsira ngal kontro sawandi pigi midela ya tsik nyimbu gongedela tsik nyimbu lab thugumdo asra dewa gongedela ya dewa te thugumdo ta karsana pigi kola ya nebi tsik jimado gawi tsik lab thugumdo asra kontro sewa kawla kontro ma sewa kawla susu nipa kanyo pasha malaya pen tokto yagi jawa che thugumdo asra dindige kebada dan kontro sem thugda ma thug keba pe chimu dhugdo asra
I will give you an example here, and of course, I have this experience, and I think you have these experiences too. At the time of when I get angry, then what happens is even if I want to say some pleasant words to you, I will not be able to say pleasant words since I'm under the power of anger. So then I'm at that time, I will not be able to do the right thing. I will not be able to help you since I am under the power of this anger. So that's why, if you try to analyze here, then the main culprit or the main action doer is actually the anger itself. So when anger arises, then one will never be able to have peace of mind.
어디서 더 딘지기 더 착당을 끼얹어라. 더 딘지기 착당 로디 되니 더 뉴무 디 싸워디다 마리 바레샤스. 그게 내루래야 신줄로도 쇼데 마리 바티 뉴무 끼기도스. 딘자 더 동하르기 싸워다 착당 뉴무디 조 마리 발레 되니 끼기연자 마리 바디세 세바 여데 메디 아니 마리 바티 로디 양타바 이메타야다 로 테담 아니 가서다 식드 차고드 차거데네야 던진당 무슨 가비 아니 로 체마치 로 양타바치 예메 테니 아니 딘디 테는다 마리바 세바 여바티 통투구 요레스
Then, as I was talking about the destructive emotions or arising of destructive emotion in one's own mental continuum, especially the attachment, aversion, hatred, and so forth. All of these destructive emotions, so there must be one root cause. So the fundamental root cause of all of these negative emotions is the ignorance itself. So, so when I talk about this ignorance is actually a distorted mind, and this mind is actually exactly the opposite of the reality, or the mind which realizes the reality. So these two are actually opposite. When I talk about this ignorance, then you can ask me this question like, is it really possible to abandon the this ignorance at all or not? So for that, actually, you need to think about, its opposite mind, or the ignorance itself, whether this mind is positive or this mind is negative. And you can also think about the mind which is completely opposite of this ignorance. So if I, try to use some particular term, then it will be quite difficult for you. So that's why I'm using these words. So whether, the opposite of negative is this mind is actually valid cognition or not. So this mind is positive or not. And you can also think about the complete abandonment of this mind or complete abandonment of ignorance. So one will be able to generate in one's own mental continuum or not. You can think like that. Yes.
다들 수삼을 땅 투그레스라고 미 땅간준 로 미기 아니 다 딘디기 아니 삼로 남주 더준 투그요레스라 땅간주 장바에는 야시자다 망간주 신 투그요레스다 다 딩간주기다 아니 로 미기 땅 토모마인 베기 캐슈식 로 아니 직 돈rol라 소발이야 자원이니 지지파 신에게 러브투에 탑시코란 분도스라 먼저 로멀이야 디 신투에 일단 뉴바치거스
Then if you ask me this question, who will be able to think like that? All these details, especially about this negative emotions and positive emotion and so forth. Who will be able to think like that? So this is, the answer would be human being. Human being have such wonderful mind that this mind will be able to understand. If you are interested to study or make reflection about these points, and you will be able to understand this is, I'm 100% sure. So only human beings have this marvelous intelligence mind where one will be able to train or one will be able to master all these details. Human beings have special power to understand all these details and later have the happiness also. Yes.
당간주 디리 뉴바치기가 바는 뉴바든데 야된 투야기 뉴바야 된 투야기 온드 교투야기 탑시 가려야세 데디르다 로
If we have this this power, then how this power can actually manifest, how one can activate these powers, and what are the skillful means or what are the methods to activate or manifest these powers.
더 탑시 매바이나 된 투야기 탑시 매바이나 딘디지 뉴바지 요르스 라바이나야 된 셰르셰르 펜도스키만 도스라 탑시 매바지려야 즉 슈지 레슬라나 때게 펜도스키만 디 마힘바 탑시 용거였다 탑시 땡이었어 탑 땡이었어 좀 된디 다디 뉴바디안 되냐게 탑 아니 찬상원지 람딘 찬상원지 나요서 먼저 땜바리 세디 소 디토니스 로고도 아스라
Then if there is no skillful means or if there is no method at all, then even if I try to say like, okay, you have such a wonderful power, you have power in your mental continuum right now, it is not activated or it is not manifested. Then if I try to say like that, then it will not benefit you much. But in reality, there are some methods where you can apply, and there are some skillful means where you can apply in your daily life. and it will benefit. And of course, when I say there are some methods, so these methods are something that which is already taught by Buddha Shakyamuni himself. So that's why we call Buddha Shakyamuni as our teacher, and he is the founder of Buddhism, or founder of Buddhist. Yes.
The teacher that number sanji vichu nanolaya. Iwan trouble chigaya. Pangsha re slaundi. Pongshiki nimbu yoba. Drivja re slaundi. Drivjig tablam yoba. The Geshe jadam yoris.
And in Buddhist teaching, um, there are many wonderful things that you can actually learn. In Buddhist teachings, if there are some, in Buddhist teachings, sometimes it says that these are something to be abandoned or object of abandonment. So if you hear this word, then later you can also you will also hear that antidote of this object of abandonment. So you will hear this also. And if you find some words like you will be able to establish this, and these are the object of establishment. So when I say this, or when I say this, then you will, later understand that there are some methods where you can apply, and one will be able to attain the resultant state or the effect. So cause, when I say cause, then you will, of course, later you will understand that there will be result also. This is something I'm 100% sure.
Tadrita tabshi yoris laundi. Tab the sheriff ni. The Nanju in the Nyamling Tolia, the Keshish did have the sheriff interest.
And when I say there are, skillful means where you can apply in your daily life. And what are these skillful means? In Tibetan, it is called Thap She. Thap refers to method, and She refers to wisdom. So these are the two words which, if you call yourself as the practitioner or Buddhist practitioner, then these two words are very, very important. These two words are method and wisdom. Yes.
The Dini Chidangi Tablayang Rimba Mambu Yungdos. Sheriff Layang could Tara Mambu Yungoris. Tanganzu could Tatuk Rojik Shebana. Dini Sheriff Slawandi Nilu Tartubat. Pigu Chunam Gita Nilu Yolu Yinlu Tartubat di. Any Tom Lotele Sheriff Slawores.
In general, with regard to method, there are many stages. You can think about many things which encompasses the method. And with regard to wisdom also, it can be divided into many parts, especially, gross, subtle, and it can be divided into many parts. And with regard to this wisdom, so wisdom refers to the actual mode of existence, the mind which realizes the actual mode of existence is called wisdom.
Tadini tabdi zo da ngubi nilu la ya pa jargiyores. Ini dinani ani tandanganzo ta sokchala tsu jawandi dewa deba dan dunghar mendeba chigyur inbanza ani dunghar da tandugu loti tabres. Dunghar da tandugu lo. Amana ninji seg. Tabres.
And with regard to method, what do you mean by method? So here, of course, this method is something that can be accompanied with the wisdom or the actual mode of existence, or the mind which realize the actual mode of existence. So it can be accompanied to that wisdom also. But maybe you can think like uh, all the sentient beings, as I mentioned earlier, that all the sentient beings want happiness and do not want suffering. So when I talk about this, do not want suffering, or all the sentient beings be free from suffering. So if I try to say like, may all sentient beings be free from suffering, or the wish, uh, aspiration that which wishes for the all sentient beings be free from suffering. So anyhow, here what I'm trying to convey you or say to you is that loving compassion is the example of method. Yes.
Tadini nganzu dunghar da tandugu lo chokri waji yungu yores. Ne tetsam laya ninji sene tagmando asra. Tindi chokri wadi ndechak sevdi. Rendo tan ndechak soro jiresi. Ra, pigi ki yul digi ani ko dunghan dugu meba yul korangi ngon yinba shisongi ani ko dunghan dugu meba yinba gyunzen du chini tindi dunghan dugu mebi samjen di dungha da tandugu lo semting ni kiwa na da di ninji res. Mado rangi chik ndeba chik rangi ani rangi rewa chidang 수수기 즉 된다지기 채도 아니 파쇼마티 동마다 탄두고 로디 델은 되차세그리 마도 아니 닌지세고 말했어.
Yes. And when I talk about may all sentient beings be free from suffering, um, so these, of course, we can say, and we can say prayers like this. And this mind is something that we can generate. But if we, at the time of generation of this mind, loving compassion, especially this compassion, so here we need to make distinction. So the main purpose of saying these prayers, or the main purpose of saying these prayers, may all sentient beings be free from suffering. The main purpose or the main focal object is you, then this is not a compassion at all. So this is actually, you can say that this is the attachment. Since the main purpose of wishing that all sentient beings be free from suffering, its main purpose is yourself. So this mind is actually not compassion, but it is attachment. since you are the one, this is your attachment, and you have this hope, and since the main focal object is yourself, then this is not compassion. So when we talk about compassion, the main focal object or the main point, the main emphasis should uh, falls on others or all sentient beings. So that's why we need to have this wish for all sentient beings be free from suffering. So if you have that kind of wish, or if you have that kind of aspiration, then this aspiration is called as compassion.
And the basic knowledge, the chak says, the chak big, chak samadi kanji, and then the chak and the namjung and so chakba said the ming the chak say. Sikan ichi yungors.
So in Tibetan, uh, for the attachment, uh, it is called de chak. So there are two words.
Then the said randunjik, rangin debachik chet doge. Randun ijig kolong chiki sambajilaya, kochoko dasra. Any pa chaksena, pa any nini sort of lokiet, pa gauchet. Rangi randunjik chedo, pa gaucheti, any tsewa mares, ninji mares. ning big same thing big laksan mares tadi di kerang chedo chima samdang gormada pasho ma yukhoran da tumba chiki ani samlo de mares den dechares dindi lagu dasra dindi khu dasra.
So as I was telling about this Tibetan word, de chak. So de means depa, or it refers to the desire, or here one's own desire. So chak means uh, feeling of nearness, or feeling of near that particular object. Since you are thinking only about yourself for the purpose of benefiting oneself, if you if you try to have this wishes, the wish where you know sentient beings, all sentient beings be free from suffering, the main emphasis is you, then actually this is not at all the compassion, but rather this is what we can call as attachment. Um, attachment, and of course, this you don't have this special power or special wishes where you think about all sentient beings, or the compassion is something we can generate, or the wishful thinking of where all sentient beings be free from suffering. So this is actually called as compassion and not as attachment. Since with regard to compassion, the main emphasis is all sentient beings and others, and not yourself, not you. Yes.
Ninji nguma di igi dunghar mendungi kansa tela migbe dunghar da tandu lo di ninji nguma di la ani digi tsu suzu la yakbu chenanda dukjar chenanda keba kaya meba kaddu yina ya dunghar mendungi tela ya dunghar da tanda chimaro nyambi lo yungu yo res di ninji res ra di ninji res da di dwesha ma res.
And the real compassion here is, of course, the compassion refers to the wishful thinking, where you know may all sentient beings be free from suffering. So here we should make some kind of distinction. So at the time of wishful thinking, may all sentient beings be free from suffering. So when we develop compassion in our mental continuum, then object of compassion. So here the object of compassion is others. So no matter whether that object of compassion, that particular person, do good thing, bad thing, whatever thing uh, have done to you, or in return, that particular person, it doesn't matter at all. Since you always, think, or you have this wishful, a wonderful wishful thinking of, may all sentient beings, that particular object, may all sentient beings be free from suffering. So that type of wishful thinking is called as compassion and not as attachment.
다 딘디지 요르베스라는 건저 벤춘샤야디 마그규지 제바텔이야 자르쇼고레스 마 안주 쳔디 아마디 지금 안주 신중 갈이야 코베나리야 바리 마키 갑 드디 당안줄래야 니바카야 메비 갑돌라 마이 제와디 메나 아니 지 추적하시 데무투비 아니 소초무도 갑돌텔이야 마이 길이야 당안줄래 제와저라스라 디 땡이 가주 삼다는 다딘 되창 마레스 디체원 인징 오마레스 더 랍쇼사레스 칸스나 아니 마디 답보고들 제와딜이야 레도 칸요 마레스 직 소술래야 직 수직 펜토야다 수직 용약이 레와 자원이니 요 마라스라 레와 메바 마세 깔 가주 소술래야 깔 가주 껴고 깔 제메체통이 아니 즉 뒤쪽 가지고 땅 거잖아. 참마 뒤쪽 참마 뒤돌아 땅 두에 아니 딘디게 갈수 거다. 아 학습 지어라다. 딘디 학습 지어라다. 디저 딘디 딘다고 들려야 더 저인지 첨보스. 저 생이 인지세 딘디질에 건지 치고 디 메규를 여버 야시 자다만 간 송당와이나. 먼저 가야 파 가야 제도 말에 마디줄에 nga지 추야부지에 nga지 펜토섬 레어 딘드점 요 말아서라. 디 마디주기 쩌디 아니 닌지 세드 테레스. 딘자 딘지기다 마디줄은 요디 디펜션의 키친 아니 간다 닌지 중국에 살아서.
And that kind of compassion is something that one can generate or not, or one can develop in one's mental continuum or not. So let me give you an example here. The compassion of our own mother, compassion that is in the continuum of our own mother, our this lifetime mother. So I guess this mother's compassion is the one where this compassion is the actual compassion or the real compassion. So our mother has carried, in her womb for many months, and after the birth, so there are many processes of birth, of course, and after the birth, then we have no power at all. We at that time we can do nothing. We are not able to do even the smallest job. So at that time, if there is no compassion of our mother, then I'm sure that one will not be able to, live. You will die. So that type of compassion of mother is not an attachment. This is the actual compassion. Since this compassion is not conditioned, so this is unconditional love and compassion. Unconditional love and compassion that is in the continuum of mother is the uh, real compassion or real love and compassion. Since this, as it is called, as unconditional love and compassion, this unconditional love and compassion has no hope and no fear or no doubt. So this unconditional love and compassion is not stained by hope and fear, since our own, mother's love and compassion is this love and compassion is not attached with strings. Strings are not attached at all. Um, this compassion will never see the object, or this object of compassion. At that time, mother will never think that, okay, my children will, as he or she grows up, he or she will help me, or some kind of hope is there. So this hope is never there. Whether on top of that, she will spend many times for the betterment of this children. So, and this is the real compassion or real love and compassion. This is, I'm 100% sure. And this love and compassion, since this love and compassion is unconditional, this is not attachment at all. This is, I'm 100% sure. So this love and compassion is actually given by our parents, or especially our mother. Then actually one can develop the love and compassion later by studying and contemplating on these topics. Yes.
但是的number 3级比 최종 나올래야 마디 하전 진친 부인 맞지 송여레스 데르다 진치와 데르다 딘디기 잠지 경엔디 테메비 잠지 경엔디 아니 만전 직딩 칸기 미 나올랬다 메센디나 소소라 마드마도 다 자차잔 자탐바 라고 말다 요 말이스 딘디기 까딘디 수직된 데야메바 젠다미비 까딘 신반사 마디 까딘 침부리 세디 긴세 디레도스라 와도 칼라트와도 오마트와도 지 드수 아니 진짜 치와 좀 지단도 약버되네요 디 아니 수인의 제도다 그 아니 비길에 소소 라차데 데라와나 제도요라다 라 이네야 마기 아니 세워디 칸드스 캐란 카르무 카르테와네야 아니 요 말스다 마기 세워나 신치 요 메은서 마드까진 치슈 임바디 딘디기 돈다 마까진 침보 임바치 숭고도 아스라
And in Buddhist texts, you know, this mother is remembering the kindness of mother. So this, in the Buddhist text, this, is pressed upon, or the emphasis is there, where it states that the remembrance of our own mother, the kindness of mother. This is something one should think about. One, it's always better to think about the kindness of our own mother, since our mother have this wonderful mind of love and compassion. So this is, of course, the unconditional love and compassion. And this unconditional love and compassion is something that only our mother possess. This is I'm 100% sure. And uh, this kindness is actually incomparable to others' kindness. So, we are not talking only about, of course, a mother has given us food, breastfed, and all the other activities that mother has done towards us. But in reality, it's because of unconditional love and compassion. This is the one actually, uh, the highlight of when we think about this remembering our mother. So this should be, this love and compassion is something that, you know, uh, uh, given to us. So it's not only talking about food, breastfeed, or we have that milk and so forth. So this is something that even if you give some kind of salary to some person, that person will do the same. So so that's why it will be quite beneficial to think about the remembering of our own mother. Yes.
Terdinza ta dindigi ninji ra shen dunga da tandu ge sambati ninji dindiji kiyage ani shizadi ani Tsultrim sonyati megi chubung Tsultrim sonyati megi chubung Tsultrim du tawandi jen lan neba shedan cheba pa ani dombachi o duzu shibachi ta duksin droba na tini ani ninji kiye yore sherif kiye yore nyumu paan yore ani tsama che yore starwa tinza tangi dindiji tol de tiri shagi isra.
Yes. And I was talking about the compassion, love and compassion, since so here compassion refers to the wishful thinking of may all sentient beings be free from suffering. And to generate this kind of love and compassion in one's own mental continuum. So the basis of all, the foundation here is the restraining of or the discipline or ethical discipline or morality. So this morality acts as the basis to arising of this love and compassion and so forth. So when we talk about this discipline of or this ethics or ethical discipline or morality, so this morality is actually the turning away of harming others with its uh, motivation. So then, of course, you can also think about wisdom, love, and compassion, and both positive and negative emotions, destructive emotions, and so forth. This is something that you can think, you can study, you can reflect on, and meditate on. So uh, then today's session, I will stop here.
Thank you so much.
Final Lamrim prayer. From my two types of merits vast space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a grand length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion. May I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings, with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be grounded boundless peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. And a prayer for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Incomparably kind and supreme Tenzing Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, may you have a long life and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And pray for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Fearless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now, holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings. Through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request, while striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and for other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in a glory for fortunate disciples. Thank you very much. And we also invite you to join us for the guided meditation if you would like in the Gompa at 1:15 only in person. And tonight we start with a New retreat that will go for the next 16 days. So Geshe-la's teaching will be back the first Friday in June. Thank you so much.